Hi there, Steve. How you doing? Good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
Very good.
Yeah, you just got back from the States. Well, you're always in good spirits. It's interesting. I wanted for me, I was very keen for us to catch up. We met a couple of times. First time we met was at Alternatives, where I was giving a talk, where you're director of Alternatives.
Some years ago at the coaching centre.
Yeah, some years ago.
It was a great evening, I remember it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope so. I hope people enjoyed it. I didn't ask for their money.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, good, good. Hopefully others did too. And then it was quite spooky after that. We met when you were doing a talk for Simon on the Sofa, where we were both doing a talk. And there were a number of things that you talked about there that I thought was interesting and for us to touch on. One was just your journey, you know, just this whole journey into this whole world of people trying to find themselves and so on. The work that you now do as one of the directors of Alternatives. You write books, spirituality about the workplace, and you talked about this lovely term, applied spirituality.
Oh yes.
And I almost want to, I don't know where it is worth starting. Maybe it's good just to give a little bit of a potted history. Tell us a little bit about your background.
My background was, I was born into an averagely neurotic British family. Averagely. I thought mine was the most neurotic, but I've learned since that's not
averagely, true. I like that.
I married young, I went into the city, I worked in banking, I married at the age of 21, I had my daughter at 22 and my son at 25. So I was really entrenched in mortgage. This is the world I'm in, cheap mortgages, all the kind of benefits pile up in those kind of places. So actually it was like a golden cage, you know, like a curve of a golden cage.
Beautiful.
And at a certain point I remember thinking, I don't want to live here anymore, it doesn't feed me, I can't marry it. And I had a conversation with my now ex-wife, and she said, perhaps on her point of view rightly, you've got responsibilities, you ain't moving, mate. That was the kind of conversation we had. And so I really hit a burnout, I took a year off and convalescent, and I actually was forced to change career.
Right.
I then went into...
When you say forced, it's because you couldn't go anywhere else, the burnout was
my
such...
health was, I just literally couldn't do anything more. And it wasn't me, I just felt, why am I doing this job? It doesn't feel me. And at the time I had no concept of my values or what I really wanted.
Yeah.
But my values since I've learned is freedom, creativity and spirituality. And there's not much of that in banking, to be honest. You know.
And how apt now, I mean, maybe we'll come back to that at the end of it, how apt now some of those issues, freedom, creativity and spirituality in a field like banking, might be interesting to come back to.
Maybe that's possible, and there may be areas where I didn't find it personally. So then I went in local government, went into Lambeth, and I did find myself more resourceful. I stepped into a management position. I found spirituality at the same time. But then gradually, as all the other bits of my life started to get aligned with my values and my spiritual beliefs, work was the one thing that kind of stuck out. I eventually resigned and went on this kind of 2-year. So after 20 years basically of working, you know, I've worked 10 years in banking, 10 years in Lambeth, I resigned, and then I thought, well, what am I doing now? I'm a kind of career guy. I did everything from landscape gardening to selling books, selling blueberry and algae.
Yeah.
I was already volunteering at a place called Alternatives, and I ended up working there, became a director in 2000, so I've been a director now for nearly 11 to 12 years. So now my work is more aligned with those values. You know, at Alternatives, I'm fairly free about what I do, about what we put on. It's very creative, and it's totally aligned with spirituality. The other areas of my life, like writing and coaching, are also very aligned to those values. My relationships, because my first wife was very much against me on the spiritual path, bless her. But subsequently then I had a whole journey of relationships, which for me also was a very, very powerful insight into who I am. I mean, my current partner is totally aligned with very creative, very spiritual, in her own way, not like me. And you know, she sometimes says, why are you doing that? Why? You know, she gets it through nature and through just being with herself. She doesn't go to courses like I do.
And that's, well, there's something really rich about that, and I was going to ask you, and you're as well qualified to answer this as anybody else. What is spirituality? Because it's interesting. It's one of those words, isn't it? You know, when we go down the first path, that is I guess the path that everybody knows that you described, the working world, the marketplace. That is very clearly defined, and we're doing what we're doing. But then when we've got a different kind of call to try and find ourselves, to which there isn't necessarily that much language. People tend to use spiritual, finding yourself, or for some people it's religion. For some people it's something almost you can't even describe, a personal spiritual development journey. For you, can you just tell us what does that word spiritual mean?
Yeah, well, I think it comes back to this kind of applied thing, because for me, for many years when I looked at spiritual things like yoga and all the kind of things I explored when I was younger, they all seem very separate from the world. That you go away, you meditate, you do a course on who are you truly, And it also felt, you come back to the world and you're in the rat race again. And I thought, where do these worlds meet? You know, so for me, spirituality is understanding who we truly are,
Yeah.
our authentic self.